Fire, 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 fire.
Alright, let's watch it. The downfall of the faithful sheriff. Yeah, I don't know about downfall. You gotta be up to get a down.
So it's said that every somewhat successful product has a cheap copy. For example, with Snickers, we have snipers. For Coke, we have Pepsi.
Hey!
That was a joke, by the way, Pepsi lovers. Although you have no taste
Pepsi,
buds, I assume you at least have enough brain cells to comprehend that it was in fact a joke. Now go drink your product that tastes like warm piss. But Dr Pepper clears both, by the way. Anyway, continue.
Alright, Asmongold.
Where I left off, for Live Leak we have Instagram Reels now. From Moist Critical we have Pyro Live. We even now have a whole LARPverse of people acting like popular YouTubers.
LARPbuskers!
LARPbuskers
Hello,
is
once
crazy.
again, audience. When we left off, I was actually in a...
Yeah, but LARPing and like making a joke out of LARPing is different than like literally trying to skinwalk as another individual. I think there's like a humor to this.
different world.
But I assume by now you get my point where one product has seen success, you
Abubas! Didasa! Moskva! Oh my god, yes! I love this. Abibas, Abibos, Absids, Adidididas.
will often see cheaper copies that attempt to replicate said product in hopes of seeing a portion of the success the original saw.
Prongles!
It's somewhat normal to see nowadays, and the same thing can be seen on the internet,
Not mess.
especially with content creators. When one creator sees a large amount of attention, sometimes others will attempt to copy aspects of that creator to reap the same benefits.
Yeah, and it works, otherwise people wouldn't do it.
Whether it's doing the same things, creating the same content, or even attempting to copy the personality of the original. However, in this category, unlike the off-brand products versus the name-brand products, it very rarely works out for the person copying the original content creator. Yes, initially you'll probably get a lot of attention if it's abundantly clear you are copying the original, and people are only there to either gawk at the LARP or make fun of you for what you're obviously doing, but long-term it often doesn't work out, as people will probably get bored rather fast if that's your only selling point, unless you actually manage to develop your content.
Is he supposed to be copying Speed?
And slowly distance yourself from just being that guy that copied another person. A good example of this is with the 10's clone 11's. Someone that's main selling point was he looked exactly like the esports player 10's, and he got popular mainly on platforms like TikTok around 2023 due to that fact. And he played into it for some time until he branched away to do his own thing and is doing fairly well in that endeavor. But
and that's good because he found his own thing and he actually is funny, probably. Half the problem is that these copycats don't have a personality of their own. Look, he's doing so well for himself. Like, geez, yeah, he clearly found a niche and people enjoy it.
Fairly well in that endeavor. But what if every time people got bored of you copying another creator, instead of, like I said, branching away and developing yourself past being just a copy? And what if every time people got bored of you, instead you just continued and moved on to copy another creator?
You're literally a skinwalker.
And it works so well, in fact, that you become so well known as a copy, you become synonymous and almost just as popular as one of the very creators you were copying. And in some cases, people actually confuse you with the original, or they don't even know there was an original in the first place. And it even develops to the point where it becomes some Ouroboros type shit. And groups of other people begin copying you, with each one differing slightly with their version and most definitely their personality, to say the least.
Oh my god! Nah!
But it's now just copies of copies, and it starts to get really ridiculous.
Dude,
on top of the fact,
what the
countless other
fuck?
controversies and things from your past begin rearing their head as you slowly become more and more hated by the wider internet, resulting in people eventually granting you the prestigious title very few are fortunate enough to be bestowed, which is an internet lolcow.
Yeah.
That is more or less the summary of the creator we are going to be speaking about today, with that being the faithful sheriff, formerly known as Dr. Witnessep or Edward Preach Fishing, or just
Should have been just a fisherman. You know what sucks? Depending on how long ago he started this channel, he could have been like, this popped off, this genre actually popped off, like, probably, like, just a little bit before COVID, and then during COVID, it, like, really exploded. There are so many camping, fishing, outdoor activity, building, like, he could have done that, but I guess he just didn't pop off, because he probably just sucks. He's not entertaining.
Henning. This is someone that I've briefly spoken about before in another video, and someone that within their current lab is a peanut that, if you couldn't tell, is a blatant copy of an already existing streamer that many of you may know as the guy from Fortnite, or alternatively, the popular streamer, the BurntPeanut.
The BurntPeanut.
Love you, nut. Peanut's middle is the perfect place for my froggy penis. I want to wear them like a condom and feel that sweet, sweet ass pucker.
And as I alluded to earlier on, people are either
I know it's not everybody's cup of tea. I like queso and peanuts type of humor. I'm retarded like that.
Dead, fortunately not that terminally online,
I'm
or the
stupid.
faithless sheriff has honed his
I'm a
craft so
child.
well over the years that it even puts the TF2 spy to shame, because some people actually confuse him as the original Peanut. And quite recently,
No, I don't blame them. It's the same thing as VTubing. Like, a lot of people just don't have, like, I'm sorry. I'll be blunt. I just think a lot of people are fucking stupid. They see white hair and then they automatically think you're another VTuber. And it's not even close. It's not like you have the same voices, you don't have the same cadence, you don't have the same accents. It's just people are fucking stupid. They can't tell the difference.
he's been everywhere, getting a lot of online attention, but obviously not for anything good. Because right now he is basically
Dr.
the internet's
Chud.
fleshlight, primarily because, for one, as we'll find out, it can be said he's a serial copycat. His
Holy
on-stream
shit.
behavior alone has caused
Is that
quite a
Kirsch? Is
few
that Cinder?
problems,
Yeah.
and he's found himself in multiple controversies due to recent and past events under his previous personas.
So, back in the day of the 1910 and 1800s, people would refer to black individuals as
And a lot of people
Why would you? What is that clip?
nowadays only really tune into his streams and content to basically clown on him
Did he get
and
banned
make
for
his
that? I
life a
wonder.
living hell.
Did he really
Like,
say
how
it?
do you make-
I think so. I think I've seen the full clip on Twitter. Yeah, I remember kind of not researching, but I think I talked about him because he was like freaking out at Peanut and saying like, oh, Peanut sent a cease and desist, but it was like actually fake and he was doing it for attention. And Peanut completely ignored him and Donald him, as he fucking should. And I'm like sitting here like, God damn.
Make your income.
do that.
Yeah, Fortnite pay you?
No, my stream, my views, my TikTok, my videos pay me.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you're not a 300-pound chud loser who asked to have a
Chud.
micro penis on their peanut VTuber on fucking Twitter?
But we'll be looking into the faithful sheriff and his past today in order to answer the question if he deserves said notoriety and hate, or is it all just simply overblown? But first, where did the faithful sheriff come from?
Show me the
No.
fishing channel.
Oh, are you black?
Yeah.
Oh, good. If I'm a white dude, but I say the N-word like this, I'll give you an example. A guy calls me the N-word, and I say, bro, I'm not a
So before becoming the faithful sheriff, Joseph was known under another
Maybe don't say it in the middle of Chicago. Like,
name or persona,
yeah, I
if
don't
you
know,
will.
you might be
a far more
paced by
infamous
that
and
point,
hated
buddy.
name that still rightfully follows him around to this day. It's kind of like his dark backstory, maybe his green
it's not even a dark backstory. He was clearly farming for clout and clipping. Like, let's be real.
Goblin era, one could say, before he later became the Peanut we all know and love, where he does almost the exact same style of content he was previously so infamously known for.
It's
But he
forced.
started making content mainly streaming on Twitch all the way back in 2020.
Yeah, he's been
Now
around
if you
for a
remember
while, huh?
anything about 2020, not only was it one of the good years, but two major things were happening.
Yeah.
One was the rise of COVID
Everybody
leading
was
to
at home.
lockdowns, and the other, probably because of COVID, was the huge jump in popularity surrounding live streaming, which both led to a dramatic increase in people starting to stream themselves and the amount of people tuning into certain streamers like Ninja, Jinxie, XQC, and more
Yeah.
relevant to this story, Dr Disrespect. Now, Dr
Ooh.
Disrespect was quite popular prior to 2020, and before his late
Yeah, because he's pretty good at the game and he's funny. Yeah. Yeah, unfortunate.
accusations, and no, I'm not talking about
Dr.
the
Diddy?
cheating situation.
No, the other one.
Stupid fucking mistakes, man.
But before his latest controversy,
mistakes.
Dr. Disrespect was one of the top streamers. He had an enjoyable on-stream persona, he had cool transitions, his production quality was genuinely impressive,
Yeah.
and he even briefly dabbled
He was honestly kind of like a VTuber. I'm not even joking. Didn't the US kidnap him? Yo, that's lore right there. That one's a good one. That one's a good one. When they kidnapped the president of Venezuela, someone photoshopped Dr. Disrespect, like in the famous picture of him sitting in the airplane or like the helicopter or whatever. Yeah, Maduro. And he kind of has like a mustache. He looks a little bit like him, but they obviously photoshopped him so it looks a lot like Dr. Disrespect. And Dr. Disrespect actually tweeted and replied to it and said, "Stop doing this! Stop it!"
in
I'll find the
music production.
picture. Maduro. Gillette!
Thousands poured into the
What's
so-called Champions Club every day and enjoyed watching his
Disrespect.
streams, with one of said viewers being Joseph. In fact, he liked Dr. Disrespect
Oh my god, they didn't even Photoshop it. It was literally just him. The White House tweeted this and he said, "Stop licking me, it's not funny." It wasn't even Photoshopped.
and idolized him
Oh,
so
that's
much
criminal,
he was
man.
inspired to start
That is pretty
streaming
criminal.
himself. But instead of starting his streaming career as himself and slowly discovering what type of streamer he wanted to be and evolving his
Yeah, you
content
gotta find
over
yourself,
time,
I
but
get
in
it.
his case he basically decided to say fuck that and became a Dr. Disrespect clone, even naming himself after him with the username Dr. Witnesser. And when he did eventually start streaming, he attempted to replicate both the look and aesthetic of the Dr. Disrespect streams. Now look, I get being inspired by other creators,
Yeah.
but there's being inspired where you maybe take one or two things and do it in your own style, but then there's attempting to be a one-to-one copy with both
And the fact that he jumps around just shows me that his brain is like basically just fueled for clout. I think like you as a person, obviously it's nice to have clout, ha ha ha. But to me personally, it's like it shouldn't trump like having fun and being your goober ass self. Like, yeah, obviously I have traits or things that I do because I've seen other people streaming for a really long time and like, I don't know, mannerisms or like the way I do things. Sure, like people could be like, "Oh, well, you kind of do it like this person," or like you kind of laugh like this person. I get it, but I have my own thing, right? This guy clearly skinwalks.
look and
'Cause that's
name.
all he
And at that
does.
point, you aren't simply taking inspiration, you're attempting to blatantly copy that
Yeah, to
person.
be them.
But to be fair to Mr. Witnesser, his on-stream antics were vastly different to that of Dr. Disrespect's, and it wasn't just out of nowhere he decided to become a copy of Dr. Disrespect. There is a tiny bit of lore to the LARP, which heavily relates to what he does on stream and the infamous acts he's known for within the space.
What did he do?
So from what he has publicly divulged,
Is
the
he like a
story
priest or
basically
something?
goes pre-COVID, he was heavily religious, and he was a part of a local church. And at said church, he asked if anybody wanted to go door to door with him to try and spread the word of their religion
Okay.
to people in their local area. But unfortunately, nobody wanted to do this with him. So he just decided to do it himself. But then COVID
No,
hit, so he now couldn't attend church or
What
go
religion?
door
I
to door
don't
to
know.
speak about his
It didn't
religion.
say.
So taking inspiration from his now favourite streamer, he had an idea. And with said idea, along with basically copying Dr Disrespect's name and appearance, he would market himself and his streams in an area not many were doing at the time. He got into the meta early, if you will. And this was,
Yeah.
as he titled it, bringing the gospel to gamers.
I go into games and tell people about Jesus.
You go into games like Fortnite games and tell people about Jesus.
I tell them the gospel message, man. The gospel message.
I'm just not one for doing that, man. It's one thing to like go to someone's door and ring on the doorbell and you know what kind of person is going to be standing there, like probably trying to talk to you about Jesus and stuff, but you can just not answer the door. Like, you're in a lobby with this guy. Like, yeah, sure, you can mute him, but at least he's gonna talk to you for the first couple of minutes. I also think, like, games aren't, like, the place to talk about that thing. People are sensitive about religion. Yeah. My parents used to say, like, religion's kind of like sex. Like, a lot of people do it, but, like, you don't want to fucking talk about it with someone that, like, I don't know, you don't really fucking know.
Message of the good Lord. When I went to church, I asked people, did they want to go knocking on doors and telling people the good message, you know? Like,
Sex is fun, yeah, but you don't talk about, like, sticking your dick in your girlfriend's ass with, like, a stranger in the grocery store. You're, like, an actual weirdo if you do that shit.
because I was excited to do something for the Lord and
No,
share
you
it through my
don't.
neighborhood
It's
and
weird.
stuff. And
I think it's weird.
nobody volunteered to help me. Like nobody. I said, okay,
Either
well,
way.
screw that. I'll do it myself. And then COVID happened, and then everybody stayed indoors, so I decided to do it online in the games.
sure, yeah.
I went viral for doing that.
Yes, he would preach his beliefs in Fortnite games. And look, I'm not the best when it comes to religion. I do have my own beliefs, but I think one of the worst places to preach one's religion is on a game, let alone a game like Fortnite where the average player is either an infant or just mentally checked out, because that's the only way you can play that game. And that's not mentioning the fact that most people would rather just play a game than have a conversation.
And you're having a fucking philosophical discussion about religion and, like, morality with someone that you barely know. You don't know where they came from. Like, if you're going in a church space, at least to some extent they live in your community and they're probably going to talk to you about their problems. You don't know what the fuck this person's going through. They just want to play their fucking game.
About religion. On top of the fact,
And by the way, any religion.
among the average gamer, some slurs are going to be involved, let's be honest.
Oh, what? You're live on Twitch?
Wow! Average COD lobby?
It's just not the best place for you to attempt to educate people on your beliefs, in my opinion. But the
Yeah.
act of simply preaching about one's religious belief on a game is not why Dr. Witnesser is so infamously known. It was more about how he did it. Because when he finally found someone with a functioning mic in his lobby, he would always prioritize trying to educate them on his religion by any means necessary, and he will be very persistent in this endeavor.
Jesus or Satan?
Jesus.
Okay, good choice.
F. Satan.
But don't use
But
F.
that's a little kid, man.
That's little kids shouldn't be swearing, bro. Come on. Jesus wouldn't want you swearing, right? If Jesus
What? He's saying F. What? I can't say frick?
was standing in front of you, right? What would you ask him?
I don't know. Can we play the game?
Yo, even the little kid! Well, can we play the game?
We're playing the game. You can't talk and play the game at the same
No, I'm
time,
trying to
bro?
enjoy
I
myself.
can. I
Okay,
just want focused.
Yeah, oh my god, this poor little kid, man.
focus on
Focus?
Jesus.
Obviously, he's coming on a bit strong there. They clearly indicate they don't want to talk about
Dude, I'ma say it. If you're a fucking kid in a game, I'm probably fucking muting you within the first 30 seconds. Yeah, like, I don't know, man. It's just weird being a fucking adult talking to a kid in a video game or like Discord or anything like that. The only time you should talk to a kid is like if they're out in the street and like fucking their parents are around. Or I don't know, asking for help. I guess it depends, but like there's reasons not to talk to a kid and as an adult. It's just weird.
but he still persists, and even more concerning, that
Slay
is a
slurs
literal
and mute him.
child
Yeah,
who's trying
tell
to
him to get off the
educate on
game.
his religion, and that's what he's most
Tell him to
known
shut the
for,
fuck up.
basically ramming his religion down people's throats even when they refuse.
I'm not here to listen to your Bible studies.
Hey, dude.
True.
It's the most important thing you're ever going to listen to in your whole entire life because it's going to save your life.
That's not gonna win people over. What's this saying? You win people over with honey rather than with vinegar?
You are not gonna do anything
What?
that's
Yeah.
gonna affect my life.
Really? So if I tell you if you don't turn from your wicked ways and repent and trust in Jesus, you're going to die and burn in hell and cease to exist and turn to ash, that's not going to affect anything you think about?
I don't care what you
And you would think that the
don't
event I
know,
showed you
man.
earlier with him talking to a child about religion would be a one-off, because a normal person would either scale down or maybe not engage in such conversations
Yeah.
with a child, because,
Yeah.
you know, it's a child
kids will
and
think they're
it's also
fine
not their
gifted.
child, so they very much don't have the right. But if you thought
Yeah, that too. Like, again, I can't help but think to myself, like, the only time I talk to a kid, and I'm a girl, so some people are like, oh, well, I'm a dude, I don't talk to kids, period. I think if you're a girl, you can kind of get away with it, like, oh, hey, what's going on, like, oh, bye, you know, that kind of thing. People don't perceive it as that strange, but, like, if a dude does it, it's, like, even more strange. And that's obviously, like, gender bias, but still.
our dear old Dr. Witnesser wouldn't do such a thing again, you
Dr.
would be sorely
Witnesser.
mistaken, because he's done it multiple times.
Okay, who's Jesus? Tell me.
God's son.
Oh, okay. Nice. What did Jesus do for us?
Died.
On the cross?
Yeah.
Bro,
For our sins, right?
this is
I don't
fucking
really know.
weird, man.
Oh,
I don't
well,
go to church.
allow me to educate you if you want.
No one asked. This isn't a school. This isn't a classroom environment, man. And again, people who are religious, they don't think this is cool. This isn't like awesome, like fucking behavior. I bet you there's religious people in my chat and they think this is fucking weird as fuck.
God made Adam and Eve, the first two
Let me educate you, and you're a child, and this isn't a classroom setting. Like, what the fuck? This isn't Bible study class.
people. Jesus dying on the cross
Oh.
made it possible for
I need
us
a
to be
little-
forgiven.
I need a little more medal.
I'm talking about Jesus here, son. Okay, listen.
Buddy, I'm trying to play the game. Just pass me the medal in the wood, bro.
Okay.
Get the get the cars. You know,
Let's go. I got a legendary sniper.
You fight the good
I need
fight.
200 I need 250 wood.
Dude, this kid is donut walling him so fucking good, man.
Do you have any wood I could have?
Your lack of paying attention is disturbing me, bro.
Please.
You don't want to hear
What do you mean he's focusing on the game?
about Jesus?
Well, I kind of don't really care, but I need
What? You should get a Bible. You could get one for free on your phone. Did you know that?
Oh my fucking
Cool, I don't
god.
really care. I just got really
Fucking
good loot.
Find yourself a
based.
youth Bible and read more about God.
But this leads on to one event he's actually
Dude.
most known for, apart from the forcing his religion on people and the times he said things relating to race.
Did you say the N-word? And I'm like, what N-word? You mean?
But he is most infamously
mean,
known for the time he preached to a child who had a different religion and basically said they are going to hell.
Bro. It's a child in a video game. What? You flip the script, it's still fucked, man.
Talking about since you're American and Christian, since the Muslim culture, we don't really talk about that.
Yeah, you don't talk about it because they don't want to believe it. That's why. The Christianity in general. It doesn't matter that I'm in America. Christianity is all over the world. So
Yeah.
look, if you were to die in your sins
So
today,
is being
you
a
would be sentenced
Muslim.
to hell.
This is the thing Dr. Witnesser is most known for. Well, that and the time he told a child Santa isn't real.
People will say,
Now that's fucked. This is what I'm saying, bro. Making kids cry like that, that is not your place.
that Santa Claus isn't real, that your parents just bring you the presents.
Yeah, that's actually true, unfortunately.
Oh my god.
And that's another lie that people do spread. I don't teach my kids about Santa Claus because it's not real, and I don't lie to my kids.
However,
You're such
after
a
this event,
retard.
Twitch
What
in
the fuck?
2021, just a year after he started streaming, would decide enough is enough and would outright ban him from the platform indefinitely. And Mr. Witnesser
Fafo.
would respond saying this ban was down to Twitch obviously hating Christianity because it goes against their agenda and the LGBTQ.
My name's
Or you're just a fucking weirdo. And you're talking to kids constantly. I feel like every other individual streamer, if they encounter a child, they usually mute them. Or they're like, you know, normal with them.
Dr. Witnesser. Twitch permanently banned me off their platform. The gospel of salvation is a message of love, and there's absolutely no hatred involved in a message like that. Twitch shows their intolerance to Christianity, and it's no surprise because—
What do you mean you told the Muslim kid he's going to hell? Why is it any of your fucking business? You're not being nice to the kid that's of a different religion than you. You're not, like, preaching tolerance either, man.
they're run
Obviously, I think it should go both ways, but, like, I think Twitch kind of, like, cooked you on that one, bro.
by the LGBT community. If you go onto his Twitch and tell them about homosexuality is a sin, that goes against their agenda.
He also claimed he would be pursuing legal action against Twitch for the ban, which is kind of ironic since the person he's copying, Dr Disrespect, did the same thing when he was banned, but he won or settled his case with Twitch, and Mr. Witnesser, I don't think ever—
I don't think he has a grounds to stand on anything, man.
started his case with Twitch.
I can see why people didn't want to preach with him. Yeah, maybe he's just a fucking weirdo.
Saying he was suing them. But anyway, Mr. Witnesser would be banned for the next 2 years on the Twitch platform, and within those 2 years he would continue his preaching and usual antics on other platforms like D-Live, which I've never heard
What is that? Is that like a Roblox knockoff?
of before.
More,
but you would then
more little kids.
move from that platform to his new home, streaming on places like YouTube and Rumble. Also around this time, he did briefly start another channel on YouTube called Edward Preach Fishing, but that went nowhere and he stopped uploading.
Yeah, because he sucks. Again, I can't help but think to myself, back 4 years ago, this shit popped the fuck off. These aren't even bad thumbnails, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think he's just not interesting.
After only 6 videos. But as the years went on, Dr. Witnesser never really
He's just a
changed his
larper,
on-stream
man.
behaviour, which just led to his reputation getting worse. And at the same time, clips of him either forcing his religion on others or getting trolled went viral.
I don't know, you might need... I don't know if we can res you. You might want to call God to come resurrect.
Hey, that's not funny.
That's not funny.
It's pretty funny. You're not, you know.
Come on,
you
that was a
smile.
good
Come
one.
on.
I didn't.
God needs some sin.
That was funny, man.
Hey, Dr. Register. Gluttony's a sin.
He's 41. Oh my god. Lord have
Videos
mercy.
going into his online activity also went viral, with the most popular being a video by Curtis Connor with almost 10 million views. And in his twilight years as Mr. Witnesser, many would just give him the nickname and regard him as Dr. Chud, and for some reason
Dr.
people would
Chud.
make edits of him
This
where
guy gives Chuds a bad name, bro.
he appears to be releasing gas or alluding to him doing things with children.
Epstein's Island, that shit. Yo, I'm talking about like just...
I would just like it to be known, from what I found, there hasn't been any serious allegations of him talking explicitly to anyone underage, even though recently in TikTok comments people are circulating a certain Discord announcement which I'm pretty sure is completely fabricated.
Yeah,
I think this
that's
allegation
mean.
or misinformation mainly just comes from the thing with him forcing his religion on kids in-game, but with that
Yeah.
said, he seriously was not helping himself when it came to people trying to allege he does things like this.
Yo, what's up, Doc? Long-time fan. Just want to know, when did you know you liked kids? Oh. Wow. Yes, I talk to minors all the time. So what? But an 8-year-old, I talk to them all day. Every day. So what?
Okay, he's referring
He's clip farming, surely. He's talking about his niece or son.
to talking to his own children there.
Okay, alright. No. It's his own kids. Out of context, chat.
own kids, just for context.
Yeah.
But his reputation was at complete rock bottom at this point. No matter what he did, people even knew him as the guy who attempted and failed to force his religion on people, even
Bro's trying to
kids.
play
Or he was known as the
Fortnite.
person who was a Dr. Disrespect clone that was being constantly clowned on and trolled. And around this time, it looked like he was going to be forever chained to this infamous reputation, or
Ooh,
at
we
least
gotta
as long
pivot,
as
we
he
gotta pivot.
existed on the internet. But all of that changed in 2025 with the rise of another streamer. A streamer that goes by many names, from the Peanut to the
P-Butt.
best VTuber, depending on your definition of a VTuber, or as he's also known as
Yeah, some people didn't
Israel's
like my take on
greatest
that. That's
streamer.
okay.
Bro, this is the number one streamer of Israel. Israel's finest.
Will never find me.
Yo, what the fuck is that, man? Yo!
Chikoshi. I'm under the CIA witness protection, or the Israeli witness protection, or something, or whatever the stupid shit Hassan said this week.
See, that's
This was
funny,
the
bro.
BurntPeanut, a streamer that saw a huge rise in mid to late 2025, with a lot of people finding his content entertaining due to things like his on-stream personality, production quality, and his overall
His little
peanut
animations
appearance,
and shit.
resulting in him standing out as a streamer. Which, with that said, some of said characteristics sound like what other people would have used to describe another streamer. But with Peanut's rise, a lot of people would take notice, including Dr. Witnesser, and he would once again be inspired, but this time he would shed his mortal skin and ascend to his next evolution. Or his next LARP, if you want to be specific.
Yeah.
What does goonin mean? It means playing with your dingo till it goops. Wow.
Wow.
That's
Good one.
crazy. Wow. That's wild.
So coinciding with the rise of the BurntPeanut, in early 2026, Dr. Witnesser would once again basically do the same thing he did with Dr. Disrespect, but this
just
time
skinwalk.
with the BurntPeanut. And he himself would become a P-tuber or VTuber, taking heavy inspiration from the BurntPeanut.
Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. It's the Faithful Sheriff. And we're going into Fortnite and telling people about the good Lord.
To be honest, since the BurntPeanut
Glad that didn't change. So
rise,
stupid.
this type of thing wasn't uncommon. We saw a lot of the so-called
sure.
food tubers around this time, where people would put their eyes and mouth on any inanimate object.
Yeah, but that
or
died
food item.
instantly,
I'm
pretty
pretty
much.
sure at one point I even saw a used period pad with a mouth and eyes. But yeah, a
Ew.
lot of people were recreating
Gross.
the Peanut
I'm a
format in their
woman, I think
own
that's
ways,
nasty.
probably in an attempt to see a portion of the momentum the BurntPeanut was seeing at the time. And there wasn't really a problem with this. Yes, most were copying the format, but not entirely, because they were doing their own things with it.
Yeah.
And nobody except one person was copying him one-to-one, and he himself didn't really see an issue with people doing this.
I mean, are they? I don't know. I mean, are they kind of hopping on the floor a little bit? Sure, but you know what I mean. It's like whatever. It's like whatever. I mean, I didn't invent the peanut. I didn't. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
They can do whatever they want. They can, you know what I mean? But follow your dreams. That's what I say. That's what I say.
See, this is what I'm saying. Like, at least he's like being humble. He's not fucking. That's why I'm like, people who fucking schizo out on his behalf are just as weird as the fucking guy copying him.
Well, that, as I said, one person wouldn't simply do what every other copy was doing, and they would choose an avatar very similar to the BurntPeanut, which, as I've said, was apparently so close to the original that
I actually think it's strategic. Yeah, to like copy him that closely.
people often confused them. And
Yeah.
that person was the faithful sheriff, aka Dr. Witnesser, who was now a peanut.
I don't know what happened. I fell asleep watching the Bugulator, okay? And I fell asleep. I woke up like this, okay? I'm telling you, I don't know what happened.
But wait a minute, before you condemn him as a copycat and label this as just a blatant copy and paste of the BurntPeanut so you can ride on his coattails of success, because to be fair to him, he did add something to this new persona, and that was lore. Now, the canonical lore in the Faithful Sheriff universe is that the only reason he became a peanut was because the BurntPeanut cursed him to become one using his peanut magic, because the sheriff had made some not so nice remarks towards his friend. And despite the obvious fictional elements within this story, this is based off actual events. As when the sheriff was still the witnesser, he would say that the Peanut's friend Gingy was boring, and apparently Gingy would see this, reply to him in some fashion, and supposedly he was very apologetic upon seeing she did actually respond.
So
but for some reason he would then use this event to transition into the faithful sheriff,
yeah, a little
implementing
bit, but not
the
much.
burnt peanut into his lore.
He says more lore than a lot of— Nah, I got lore. You'll see. No, I got lore coming. Don't worry. Like little lore, not like giga lore, like little bit. Yeah.
As a villain
It's
of sorts.
coming!
Despite Peanut
It's
at the time not
coming,
having
just trust
anything to
me.
do with him or
Just
this
trust me, just trust
situation,
me.
it was only Gingy.
I think it's the burnt peanut. I think he did this to me. You know what it is? I bet you is I called his friend Gingy boring. It's a curse. It's a curse. I bet you this is what happened. Burnt Peanut cursed me for calling his friend Gingy boring.
You know what you mean?
Yeah, he turned me into a peanut, actually. That's why I'm a peanut. He turned me into one. He's my arch nemesis.
Also, on multiple occasions, the sheriff has tried to reach out to the burnt peanut, only to be ignored.
Yeah, rightfully so, motherfucker.
Deal. If you get the burnt peanut to respond to this video by saying, I released you of your peanut bones, you get your witnesser back.
Spoiler alert, we never got our witnesser back. However, now that he was a peanut and no longer the witnesser, with this evolution, you'd expect him to maybe change his content slightly. You wouldn't think he'd just continue what he was doing as the witnesser, but now just as a peanut, right? Well, he wasn't exactly doing the same thing. One key difference was he was now leaning into the whole Dr. Chud gassy thing as the peanut.
One more?
Yeah,
okay.
one more.
Got it. Sniff him out.
Does this guy have a fart fetish? What the fuck am I listening to? Huh?
Sorry. A little bit gassy.
But yes, he was doing the exact
that's
same
so
things he
funny.
was infamously known for as the witnesser.
So, do you believe in Jesus?
Um.
Or did college teach you out of Jesus?
Oh,
'Cause that's what they do.
crackers,
But with
man.
this change of appearance, it led a lot of people and those educated on his past to take notice of the new peanut in town. And people would almost immediately begin shitting on him all over again.
How's Houston treating you? Fine. What do you do for a living, son? Still in school. Still in school? Alrighty then, I'm a young buck. I see. What do you plan on doing when you graduate? What do you want to do when you grow up? I don't know. Alright, I guess there's nothing wrong with that. Hopefully you figure it out soon. You gonna go to college or what? I don't know. The one thing I want to be is
Man, it's just so like it's not content, man. It's not funny. I don't know, bro. What are we doing? Oh, I think it's muted. Yeah, it got muted.
The sheriff would begin picking
Yeah, sorry, Chad. YouTube muted it, I guess.
up traction to the point where he was more known than his days as the witnesser, and at times just as well known as the burnt peanut himself, because people just loved to point and laugh at him. Clips of him being trolled or just being bad at games would be endlessly circulated on platforms, to the point where it eventually reached outside to people who didn't even know his backstory or who he was, and some would once again mistake him for the peanut that everybody was talking about and was blowing up at the time. But even though from the outside the trolling and everything sounds pretty funny, obviously some trolls would take it too far, where on multiple occasions people have gotten into his Fortnite lobby and read out both his and his wife's social security number and their address where they live with their 2 kids, which is terrible since it potentially puts both him and his family in danger, and it's so bad in fact people just apparently post his home address everywhere.
Like how you lied about being from Texas.
Okay, that's cringe. No! That's cringe. Yeah, don't do that.
I don't live there, buddy.
Really? Because your wife does.
That's whack. Yeah, no,
On
that's
another
cringe.
occasion, the faithful sheriff supposedly received a
This was all fucking fake and lame.
cease and desist letter from the Burnt
No.
Peanut whilst live, and it resulted in him immediately ending his live stream as he thought it was
This was a stunt, and he basically said Peanut was the one that did this, and Peanut never responded because it wasn't him. Like, he just did this for fucking clout. Because he wanted to farm him for, on Twitter.
about to be sued for using the Peanut's likeness. However, he would later clarify this was a fake email and had nothing to do with the real Burnt Peanut, and in that post he would also say that to prevent this from happening again, he would remove himself from the Burnt Peanut universe and remove the Burnt Peanut from his lore, but he will not stop being a peanut. So now the faithful sheriff no longer had an arch enemy, but that hole would quickly be filled by another, which was Super Mega. And for context, around this time,
He's got a little fucking pee-pee right here.
this account was responsible for the circulation of
fucking
the
picture,
Burnt
man.
Peanut's avatar with his cock out, which is something they would repeat upon hearing about the existence
No! It's not funny!
of the faithful sheriff, but they would claim that the faithful sheriff himself asked them to do this so he could be more like the Burnt Peanut, which is
Oh my god, you're so cringe. You requested us to do this for you, question mark. What in the world are you talking about? No, I didn't. You're such a clout-chasing little freak, man. Nah.
a claim the sheriff would deny, leading Super Mega to leak supposed DMs, where the sheriff apparently asked for this picture to be made, and even provided a picture of his IRL peanut
He's such
for
a dick
reference.
rider. Yeah,
Now,
he's
for those of you that
he's bouncing on it, man. He wants to be the peanut so bad.
are mentally deficient, this was a blatant troll, and the faithful sheriff would prove it was a troll with one key piece of evidence.
Never said this. I never even knew that these guys existed prior to yesterday when this post came out. Here's a picture of my real penis that you can use.
Okay, maybe he's in his face. There's no way this guy sent a fucking dick pic.
Obviously, this is not me. Y'all have seen me. This
No
person probably
way.
weighs about 170. I'm 300 pounds.
Personally, don't believe he would take the lap of copying
See,
the
why couldn't you be funny like that, man? Why you gotta do this fucking religious bit, man, bro? See, that was funny, see?
Burnt Peanut that far, and once again, obviously, this is a troll. But unfortunately, instead of moving on, the faithful sheriff would keep feeding said troll, responding to basically every post about him on that page, and even threatening legal action, which I don't think he would pursue, because he's claimed this before and nothing came of it. Plus, it's incredibly expensive, and I don't know about the faithful sheriff's finances.
Nah.
I don't even think he's
He
at a
probably makes
position where
decent amount of
streaming
money.
is his job, and he hasn't divulged anything about his employment, but either way, I think he probably won't have the resources to pursue a lengthy legal battle. However, even to this day, Super Mega is still trolling him, even saying he got in contact to put a penis on his new avatar, because yes, the faithful sheriff wasn't done just yet. He would keep evolving. So what would he become next?
Oh,
Would
I don't
he copy
know.
next, I hear you asking? Well, that's the funny thing. Unlike his other iterations, he wouldn't really change. He was still a peanut, just now an anime peanut. Or, dare I say, a VTuber.
I tell you what inspired this. You guys want to hear what inspired this?
Oh no.
I was going to collab with.
Stop fucking. Stop. My culture is not my fucking costume, bro.
The streamer, and this streamer was a Christian streamer, and she was a VTuber. And I was going to collab with her, and I thought, hey, how quickly can I get this model? Like I came up with a concept. I was like, I want this model. How quickly can I get this model so that when we collab, I can be a VTuber too, like an anime version? And she go like, can I get this in a couple days? And she was like, no, are you kidding me? Like, no. And she told me the whole process and how much and all that, and I was like, wow. So
Is he talking about Demi? Wait. Why did you collab with this guy? Maybe he got canceled, chat. I don't know if that's true.
I then got inspired and I was like, I'm gonna do this. And
No, I need a source for that. I don't know, man. We're just saying shit.
yeah. Anyways,
You know, I didn't do that for months. I didn't drop a bomb. on, Paris?
That's the state of my Instagram Reels feed, by the way. That was immediately after. But yeah, he was now a VTuber, and in my opinion, I'm pretty sure of the context given, it was completely AI generated, like a lot of the assets on his stream. But around the time he debuted as a VTuber, he also managed to get in a conflict with Jinxie of all people.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. How old was the kid? How old was the kid? Oh my god. I don't know if there is legitimately a worse thing you could do or say. I don't legitimately think there's a worse thing you could do with your time than play Fortnite with a 7-year-old and tell him he's going to hell. Like, I legitimately, I would put that on the dead last thing to be doing with your time.
Super angry. What really pisses me.
It was Demi. It wasn't Demi Alana, but he was in Demi's chat at some point, practically begging her for a collab, and she clowned on him. Oh yeah, she banned him, and then he freaked out. Yeah. I remember. So it wasn't Demi. Yeah, I think it was unrelated.
Me off.
No.
About Jinxie and all these other streamers that are talking smack about this is that they don't know what they're talking about. It astounds me how someone could be streaming to 30,000 people and be this popular when they're 100% this stupid.
Now, Jinxie had just discovered who the faithful sheriff was, and he had started to look back at some of his most infamous clips, especially around the time he was Dr. Witnesser. And he had a few takes on his behaviour around this time, much to the dismay of the faithful sheriff, who basically denied any wrongdoing, especially in his most infamous clip clarifying he never told that child they were going to go to hell, only to then somewhat walk back that when reviewing the original clip, and he gives the excuse, I said he was sentenced to hell, not sent to hell.
Like, they listened to this video, and to them, it sounds one way, when in all actuality, it's something completely different. And the only thing I could come up with is that they're literally possessed by demons, or they are willingly, knowingly being this stupid on purpose. Not what I said at all.
In general, it doesn't matter that I'm in America. Christianity is all over the world.
We saw it,
if
man.
If you were to die in your sins today, you would be sentenced to hell.
If you were to die in your sins today, you would be sentenced to hell. Not sent to hell. Not that you're going to hell.
You're still... It's just like you're not gonna talk your way out of this one, bro. Sentenced to hell, sent to hell. Yeah, why would you say that to a child, let alone a child of an opposite religion? Like, what the fuck? What are we talking about?
The sentence.
Yeah, you're splitting hairs,
would be
man.
Hell.
Let's be honest, it's not really the faithful sheriff's fault here. He's got a terminal case of internet lolcow, and one of the symptoms
Is that pirate soft for his soy jack?
is quite literally for you to claim that everyone else is wrong and you're in the right, even if there's piles of evidence proving otherwise. However, going past this, he would finally be recognized by his previous arch enemy, and the very person that was responsible for his existence. Yes, the BurntPeanut.
I got some interesting news. Did you know the BurntPeanut actually responded to me over the weekend? You guys wouldn't know that.
So he goes into the BurntPeanut stream whilst he's live and notices his name is blocked, and because his name was blocked from being typed, it obviously meant if he went into his chat with the faithful sheriff as his username, no matter what he said, the messages would not send because of that username. So when he realizes this, he calls the mods goofy, and the Peanut sees this message.
LOL mods, you're so goofy for blocking me.
Because you're cloud farming for attention, man. Sniped? Yeah.
Mods.
And after being surprised about this, the faithful sheriff apologizes and says, "Oh, I thought my messages were blocked." And the BurntPeanut will respond saying, "Yes, your name is blocked in my stream."
No, only I can see what you're saying. You are blocked. That is true. You are blocked, sir. Only I can see.
And with this opportunity, he would ask the BurntPeanut if he could join the Rust server where him and a lot of other popular streamers were creating content. And in response, the BurntPeanut would just ban him directly instead of just his name this time.
absolute cinema.
Go, so I guess this means I can't join the Rust server. And then shortly, like 10 seconds after I say that, he bans me from the chat.
And just to take this a step further, he would post this clip on Twitter, where Gingy, Peanut's friend, would respond saying Peanut doesn't really care about him and the sheriff is just being very parasocial and
Gingy's funny too.
he needs
She's
help,
a goofy
at
girl.
which he would respond, "You're still boring."
She's funnier than you clown! That's embarrassing!
Holy
Yeah, it says
aura.
this
The
guy,
conversation
man.
continues where she says
Yo,
he's
Dylan,
just
look
a
at the
copy
5
and he
gifted,
just
I
alludes
appreciate
to
it.
her being racist or something, and the conversation
Huh.
ends there. But as that was ending, the Faithful Sheriff universe was about to see a few more additions, when people decided they would copy the copy by creating their own version of the Faithful Sheriff. We had Faithful Emmy, who was apparently in love with the Faithful Sheriff. We had the Faithless Sheriff, and even the Faithful word I cannot say. They
Glock on the Adidas and everything, bro. Sorry, the Nike.
was quite
Bro,
a lot of them.
that's
And despite the
insane.
fact the
That's
Faithful
criminal.
universe was growing, the Faithful Sheriff
The
wasn't
MAGA
too
one?
happy
Yeah,
about
what the
this,
fuck
because
are
he
we
thought this
doing?
was just people blatantly copying him, which, to say the least, is very, very ironic. And at this point, I honestly can't tell if he's just going along with this or actually thinks like this, because he's just feeding the trolls constantly. But finally, in this story, the Faithful Sheriff had one more evolution,
What, a
because he would
furry?
turn into a cat.
Oh no.
Oh, hi. You're probably saying to yourself, I
You
can't
know what's funny? This one isn't AI generated. You can tell someone actually drew this one. Maybe he really is a furry.
believe the Faithful Sheriff's a cat now. Well, at least nobody can call me a copycat. Get it?
Get it?
Copycat.
Yeah, it was funny. Hilarious.
Yeah, I don't know anymore. He went from a Dr.
looks AI.
Disrespect
No, it
clone
doesn't.
to a
I don't
peanut
think
clone
so.
to an anime peanut to a fucking cat. What a legacy this guy has. But that's where the Faithful Sheriff is to this day, and he's still basically doing the same content. The only thing that has really changed over the years is the persona, or the LARP he uses.
I'm a chud,
I'm a fat little chud. Oh, games and a sub.
So in conclusion, that is the Faithful Sheriff, aka Dr. Witnesser, aka Edward Preacher, and in my opinion,
You
he
should've
does
stuck to
deserve the
fishing,
criticism
man.
thrown his way. His online history is basically built on copying others and controversies that tie down to his own actions that in lolcow fashion he can admit fault on, and he is either unknowingly or purposely feeding trolls online, which just encourages more trolls
It's
and
lolcowing.
even more hate when he could just mitigate all of this
He
by
could put in way more effort into like being funny, goofing around, not doing the fucking cringe ass like religious fucking clip farming and talking to little kids. And he could probably do decent. Like better than he is now.
like ignoring it, but at least now he's sort of doing his own thing, and who knows, maybe we'll see the Faithful Sheriff in the top 10 streamers, alongside people like Jinxie and Queso. Yeah, I think that's very unlikely, but anyway, what are you doing with your life, huh? Not subscribed to the channel probably, no bitches, no kids, definitely no job, which is very
Hey!
much unlike the
I
Chad
mean-
Faithful Sheriff who has all of that and a career that was basically built from copying others. which,
Okay, I can't talk. He does have like kids and a wife.
if you look at it on the bright side, if he
Yeah.
can get all of this, so can you. But then again, you probably just checked your
Who's-
Discord thinking
You stupid bitch!
someone messaged you. Nope, you're still a loser, but yeah, that's all I had to say, and bye-bye.
I fucking hate this bird. Motherfucker. Stupid ass. Motherfucking ass. That was a good video. We learned some things about copycats and shit, huh?